Hello and welcome back to another episode on Heal Out Loud. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about how your childhood wounds are ruining your money, your body, and all of your relationships. So to start off with, as a bit of a spicy introduction, you really need to understand that you are the creator of your own reality and not a victim of it. And yes, when you were younger, you were a victim of your circumstances because you didn't have a choice in which family you were brought up in, which country you were born in, which school you were sent to. So back when you were a child, yes, you are a victim to your circumstances. So it's understandable why you still feel that you're a victim of your reality. However, as adults, it's your responsibility to heal yourself and to start creating the life that you truly want. And I know right now you might be thinking, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't understand that I am not creating the constant bills that I'm receiving. I'm not creating the constant problems that I'm being faced with. I'm not creating the constant arguments that I have in my relationships. Like, is she crazy? Of course, I'm not creating any of these. And consciously, no, you're not creating these. Consciously, obviously, you want to have more money. You want to have a better relationship with your body. You want to have a better relationship with your friends. You want to have a better relationship in your romantic life, but your reality is not created from your conscious thoughts. So your brain is divided into two, and you have 5%, which is the conscious brain, and 95%, which is the subconscious brain. And back in the past, they used to think that the subconscious brain, the 95% of your subconscious brain, is doing nothing, just like the appendix in your body is there for nothing, apparently. However, recent scientific studies have noticed that there's a lot of brain waves going through the subconscious brain, and all that you've learned whilst you were growing up has been stored in your subconscious. So whilst you were growing up, you learned beliefs about who you are, who other people are, what the world is, and they are stored in your subconscious brain. And obviously, everyone has a different childhood, even twins being raised in the same year, being raised by the same parents, have a different upbringing, have a different programming, because what your brain has experienced is not what some other person's brain has experienced. So if growing up, for example, you were picked up late from school, or maybe you were sent to your grandparents for the weekend because your parents were going abroad, or maybe your parents had a separation or a divorce, or maybe one of your parents unfortunately fell ill, or maybe you had a single parent raising you, or maybe there was sickness in the family, or you had a brother or a sister who needed more attention than you did. All these things start adding up to your programming, to your subconscious brain, and you start adding in your subconscious brain beliefs like, I am not good enough, there's something wrong with me, everybody leaves, the world is an ugly, scary place, money is the root of all evil, all my family, we all have genes which make us have bigger bodies, I'm just a sweet tooth, I hate running, I do not know how to run, I am not a gym person, I am not a lucky person, I am so unlucky, I am such a victim, everyone has their life which is better than mine. And all these beliefs are stored in your subconscious brain. And even though with your 5% conscious brain, you want to create a lovely body for yourself, you want to be working in the job that you desire, you want to have lots of money, you want to have a healthy, loving relationship, you want healthy friendships. Even though with your 5% conscious brain, that is what you want, your 95% subconscious brain has different beliefs stored inside it. So you keep on operating from those beliefs. You keep on operating from the beliefs that maybe all women are controlling, or all men are a-holes, that all women are bitches and they only want one thing. And what happens is when you have these beliefs is that firstly, you keep on attracting people into your life that are going to reflect these beliefs back to you. So if you have this belief that everybody leaves, you are going to attract someone who's not emotionally available. And how does this happen? You might be thinking, I meet people online. How do they know what my subconscious beliefs are? How come I'm attracting from these beliefs if I meet people online? Like, what are you saying? And you need to understand that we are all energies. If you had biology in school, and if you didn't, I will explain. We are made up of cells, and each and every cell in our body has what is called a mitochondria. And this mitochondria is known to be the powerhouse of the cell, which means it is the energy house of the cell. So we are all energies, and energies cannot be created nor destroyed. And energies can be felt. How many times maybe you've entered a room and you are like, scanning where you're going to sit, and you said, I'm not going to sit next to that guy because he seems really annoying. Maybe you're like, I want to sit next to that girl because she seems really sweet and nice, without any of them even saying a word. It's just how they present themselves, their energy. So we are all energies. And if your energy is being driven by your subconscious beliefs that you are not good enough, that there's something wrong with you, that you're insecure, that you have this like grudge against men or women or people in general, that energy can be felt. And what happens is your nervous system is going to attract into your life people who have similar energies to you. Doesn't mean that they have the same beliefs, but it means that they have a similar energy to you. And so you attract people on the same frequency of your energy. And if your frequency is set on a negative frequency, you're going to attract people who are going to show you that negativity even more. It's like putting on your radio station on a negative frequency and expecting to listen to positive music. It doesn't work that way. If you want you listen to positive music, you have to change the frequency of your radio station. And I will explain later on in this episode how to rewire these beliefs, how to stop allowing these childhood wounds to damage your relationship with money, with people, with love, with your body. And I will also share ways on how to shift from a negative to a positive frequency. But apart from attracting people who are going to continue reaffirming these beliefs back to you, what happens is you also attract situations that are going to continue reaffirming these beliefs that you have about yourself. So if you have childhood wounds which programmed your subconscious brain into viewing yourself, other people, and the world as a nasty place, what's going to happen is you're going to attract more situations that are going to make you believe that this is true. On the other hand, when you have a belief, for example, that you're not good enough, you tend to be insecure. When you have a belief that everybody leaves and nobody loves me and people just want one thing, everybody is so self-centered, then what's going to happen is, with your insecurity and with your lack of trust in the good will of people and in other people and the world, what's going to happen is you're going to constantly live from this belief. So if, for example, you've managed to attract a person who might be on the same energetic level as you, but there is a possibility that you grow together, what's going to happen is you're going to start doubting this person. You're going to start trying to control this person because you are so insecure that you need to control this person because you're afraid that if you don't, you're going to lose them. And ironically enough, the more you try to control this person, the more you're going to lose this person because nobody likes to be controlled. And what happens then is that this person will walk away, will walk out of your life, and you're just going to sit there at home and say, you see, I was right, everybody leaves. I was right, I am not good enough, I'm not lovable. And you continue reaffirming this belief more and more. So your belief, attracting people who are going to reaffirm that belief even more, your belief, and you're going to sabotage, so you make that belief seem true. So you're going to try and control people. If something good happens to you, you don't believe that you deserve it because you believe that the world is a nasty place. So you're already feeling fear, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Something bad is about to happen if I've been feeling good for 2 days. And you attract that negative frequency back into your life. Or how many times have you maybe gotten a raise at work or something good happens when it comes to money, and all of a sudden your car breaks down or you receive this random bill that you had totally forgotten about that you have to pay, and you're like, oh my God, I can't take a breather. It's like it's one blow after the other. It's like life is constantly working against me. Like I can't seem to breathe anymore. And obviously, when one negative thing keeps on happening after the other, of course you're going to feel like a victim. Of course you're going to think that, why am I so unlucky? Why do others have it better than I do? Of course you're going to think that. But this is why I am here, to tell you that we are the creators of our realities. I was exactly in the same position as you. When I started inner child healing, I started it because I was severely depressed. I had lost all hope because I had been going to therapy for a very long time. So I really thought that if therapy is not fixing my brain, then for sure there's something wrong with me. Maybe I was born with a damaged brain. Maybe I am just unlucky. Maybe I was just born to suffer. And I had just recently lost my mom unexpectedly. And also I was going through a breakup. It was my second breakup. And this person told me the exact same sentence, maybe in different words, but exactly the same meaning as my previous ex had told me. And it was something like, Nick, I had the best times of my life with you, and I had the worst times of my life with you as well. And I was like, oh my God, I'm hearing this the second time. Like, is it a coincidence? And it was like something clicked inside of me. It was like, oh my God, I am the common denominator in my life. I am the common denominator in my relationships, in my friendships. Like, I am the common denominator. So it's impossible that everything and everyone around me is wrong and I am right. So it was in that moment where I started doing lots and lots of research, reading self-help books, diving deep into like, how can I heal myself? How can I stop this? Searching my symptoms in relationships, symptoms in the way I feel about life around people, searching about like my childhood, because I had no idea that such a traumatic childhood was affecting the way I was showing up in my relationships and in my life. And if someone like me who had a drug addicted mother as a child, I was in foster homes, I didn't have a dad. If someone with such a traumatic childhood couldn't connect the dots to realize that, listen, it was my childhood that had created all this programming and that now I'm attracting more of it in my life, let alone someone with a normal family, with a pretty decent childhood. Like, it's impossible sometimes for us to realize that, listen, there's a certain programming inside of us that is literally moving the way we operate. So yes, basically, I started my inner child healing journey because I was feeling severely depressed. And I thought that it was just going to heal the sadness I was feeling, and maybe it was going to heal the way I show up in relationships. But it changed completely everything, because inner child healing is literally all about reparenting the child in you that didn't get exactly what they wanted. Maybe you had an emotionally unavailable father. Maybe you had a father who called you names. Maybe you had a mother who was always in a bad mood because she was very tired and exhausted raising the kids by herself because the dad was always at work. And as kids, you take this message that, okay, I'm not important, I do not matter. Like, because my dad is never home, my mom is always angry, no one has space to listen to my problems, no one has the space to listen to my feelings. All they care about is whether I do my homework and whether I have cleaned the bathroom after me after I had a shower. Like, that's the only thing these adults speak to me about. And then there's sibling dynamics, then there's cousins dynamics, then there's bullying at school. That, funnily enough, I've noticed that each and every human being at one point or another is a victim of bullying at school, because as kids, we tend to be cheeky and we all tend to pick on each other when we're kids, maybe innocently, but we all affect one another. We are not solo human beings. We're constantly around other humans, and the way other humans are affecting you, you are also affecting other humans. Yes, so I started this inner child healing journey because of the reasons I just mentioned. However, literally, reparenting my inner child has literally changed my life, every single area of my life. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say that it has made my life perfect, because perfection is non-existent, but it has helped me wake up feeling at peace, grateful, happy. I wake up and I'm singing with my dancing and preparing for the day, whereas in the past I used to wake up feeling like an elephant was sitting on my chest and I couldn't even breathe. And the only thing I prayed for was that maybe someone bumps into my car whilst I was on my way to work, so that I didn't need to show up, that I didn't need to interact with humans. All I wanted to do was just sleep. Apart from your programming, as I've shared earlier, we are not living in unison on this planet. We are a part of a whole ecosystem. That's why you might hear sometimes people saying that, oh, kids and animals, they are attracted to people who have good energies. And it's true, because kids and animals, all they can feel is energy and frequency. So that's why certain kids and certain animals are attracted to some people more than others, because of the frequency that a person might be on. And apart from being a part of this ecosystem, there is a higher power. Whether you believe in God, whether you call it universe, whether you call it Allah, whatever you call this higher power, it doesn't matter. All that it matters is that you believe that there's a higher power. And to be honest, if you look at the sky when there's a sunset with all those beautiful colors, if you look at the sunrise, if you look at the moon and how it changes every single day, and we have an eclipse, and sometimes we have a full moon, and sometimes we have a new moon. If you look at the flowers, if you look at the 4 seasons that we have every year, if you look at the animals and how they hibernate, if you look at like the foods and how they resemble the organs inside the body that's going to help, like the walnuts help the brain, for example. No matter what you'd like to call this higher power, we can all agree that there's a higher power. And this higher power resides in each and every one of us. So there is God, but God is also within you. And I usually refer to this higher power as the universe, because I am more of a science person. However, in the past, science and religions were very far away from each other, but with recent studies, we can really see that science and spirituality have become very close to each other. Maybe one religion calls it miracles. With the spiritual terms of the universe, we call it manifestation. What I'm trying to get to is to help you realize that all departments are now aligning together. And if you agree that there is a universe, higher power, God, whatever, you also agree that there are laws, and I will call them here the laws of the universe. And the same way that the law of gravity works without you questioning how or why, the law of assumption, the law of attraction, the law of detachment, the law of correspondence, they are also working constantly, whether you believe in them or not. And if you do not believe in a higher power, you can read about the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of detachment, and all the laws of the universe from a scientific perspective. You can search on quantum physics and you can read about them from a perspective, from a scientific perspective, from an energetic perspective. And basically, the law of attraction states that if you're operating on a negative frequency, you're going to attract more negativity into your life. And if you're operating from a positive frequency, you're going to attract more positivity into your life. However, if you do not regulate your nervous system through inner child healing, through subconscious brain rewiring, you are not going to be able to use the law of attraction to your favor, because when I was dysregulated, when I haven't healed my inner child, when I haven't yet rewired my subconscious brain, I couldn't think positive. I wanted to. I'd wake up and I'd say, it's okay. Today is going to be a good day. I'm going to operate from a positive mindset. My 5% conscious brain wanted that, wanted a positive day, wanted a positive outlook on the day. But my programming, which was created in my childhood, wasn't allowing me to have that positive day, because my subconscious brain, my programming, had beliefs inside it that life is bad, only bad things happen to me, I am a victim, I'm unlucky, I can never be happy. So even though I wanted to think positive, my body wouldn't allow it, because my body was constantly prepared to fight or fly, literally. So So to be able to use the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of detachment, and all the other laws that exist under the laws of the universe, you must first regulate your nervous system through inner child healing, through rewiring the subconscious brain, through somatic work. So that is why in my framework, we do not start with manifestation, because if you're dysregulated, you're not going to be able to manifest. And I know right now you might be panicking and you might be thinking like, oh my God, so I'm attracting this negativity into my life. It's my fault. Calm down. It's not your fault. How can you blame a 5-year-old that went through maybe the programming that you went through? Like, you can't blame that 5-year-old. So why are you going to blame yourself? You are your inner child. Your inner child resides in you. So calm down. Do not panic. I will be sharing everything very soon. I'm just going to give you an explanation of what is happening in your life and how these childhood wounds are ruining your relationship with money, your body, and other romantic relationships, friendships too. The law of assumption states that whatever we assume will harden into fact. And you might be saying, so if I assume that I'm going to get €1 million by tonight, I'm going to get them. Doesn't work like this. Of course not. Whatever we assume, like the dominant thoughts, whatever we keep assuming, like I can say with my 5% conscious brain that I assume that something good is going to happen to me in the next hour. But if I do not believe it with my whole body, if my nervous system doesn't believe it, if my 95% subconscious brain is not wired to believe that, it's not going to happen. So whatever you assume for long enough will harden into fact. So what happens is you start building these assumptions, because everybody leaves, I'm always suffering, bad things are constantly happening to me. And what's going to happen in your outer reality? Bad things are going to keep on happening to you. As soon as you're happy for a little while, something really bad happens. As soon as you feel like you can breathe again or some good things are happening to you, boom, a huge slap in the face and something worse than what happened just 3 days before is going to hit you. Also, the law of detachment states that when you detach from needing something so much, from wanting something so much, that is exactly when you get it. How many times in your life have you given up on a job interview or a person or something that you really wanted, and as soon as you gave up, as soon as you accepted that you do not want this job, but that you do not want your ex, or you do not want that friend to contact you again, that you're okay, you're still safe, you're still going to survive. As soon as you say that you do not want this thing anymore, this thing comes back into your life. And that's not because universe is cheeky or life is trying to be nasty towards you, but that's because you have detached. You're no longer chasing it, you're no longer running after it, and as soon as you stop chasing it, you are in a position to receive it. But if you have beliefs wired inside of you that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you, it's very hard for you to detach from that thing that you really want, because the thing that you really want it because it's going to inflate your ego. If you get your ex back, you're going to kill the story that you're not good enough. If you get the job that you really want, you're going to be able to fight the story that bad things always happen to you. So when you have insecurities, when you have beliefs that are wired to work against you, you end up not being able to detach, and you end up working against all the laws of the universe. And it's like there's a river and the stream is going to the left and you keep on trying to swim to the right. Instead of accepting that you're in the river and that you're going to go to the left and maybe you're going to try and avoid some rocks and some bumps and some branches, no, you keep on trying to go to the right, and what happens then? You're going to get smashed to a rock, you're going to get hit by a branch. So when you're dysregulated, you cannot work in favor of these laws. And if you're going to keep on working against these laws, you're going to keep on seeing negativity happening in your life. Things that make you feel like you're a victim, things that make you feel that you're unlucky. And then you continue reaffirming the beliefs that there's something wrong with you, that you're not good enough, that it's true that I'm a victim, it's true that I'm unlucky. And funnily enough, the way the universe works, or the way energies work, is that the more you focus on something, the more you focus on, I do not want this, for example, I do not want this to happen to me again. The universe doesn't understand that you're focusing on this thing because you do not want it to happen to you again. The universe just sees you putting all your energy onto this thing, so it's going to give you more of that. So something that you really need to do here is to stop focusing on what you do not want and to shift the story and instead start focusing on what you do want. So maybe you can start creating an audit, a life audit, like make a list of all the things that you do not want. Maybe I do not want to be poor. I do not want to be broke. I do not want to have this friend in my life. I do not want to suffer anymore. I do not want to stay single all my life. I do not want to stay with this partner. I do not want to be treated like shit. Okay, so you have the list of things that you do not want. Now go ahead and flip them. What do I want? I want to be in a healthy, loving, committed relationship. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. I want to look good and feel good in my body. I want to feel alive and happy. And every single day, focus on the list that you want and keep on focusing on that. But before we do all this, because if you have a dysregulated nervous system, this is very hard to keep on sticking to the positives of what you want in your life. Before you do all this, you need to regulate your nervous system. You need to rewire your subconscious brain. You need to heal the inner child. And how do we do this? So firstly, I suggest that you monitor your thoughts throughout the day. The thought comes before the emotion. So if you're feeling sadness, check what thought came before that sadness. Maybe, for example, the thought that, I don't know, I'm going to be forever alone. Or maybe the thought of I'm always going to have this weight. Check what thought came before it. So you analyze, you track your thoughts. You see what your dominant silent thoughts are, what is stored in your subconscious brain. After realizing what are these thoughts, I suggest that you start asking yourself, is this thought 100% true? Is this thought making me feel better or worse? What is a thought I'd rather think? Like, is this a thought I want to carry with all my life? Is this thought even serving me? Is it helping me? If not, how can I flip this? After analyzing your thoughts, I truly suggest to sit with your feelings. If there's sadness coming up, if there's anxiety coming up, if there's fear coming up, sit with it. This is a practice that really helps me and my clients. The more we try to push the sadness away, the more we try to push the anxiety away, it makes us even more sad. It makes us even more anxious. So it's like, see feelings as kids. Imagine there's a kid and this kid is telling you, I want to sit next to you, I want to sit next to you. And you're like, no, go away, no, go away. They're going to throw a tantrum, they're going to scream. They're going to scream even more than they screamed earlier. Whereas if you sit with the kid and explain to the kid that maybe you're soon going to be available, give them a hug and you promise them that you're going to be there for them very soon, then they calm down, then they quiet. So same with your feelings. Sit with the sadness, sit with the fear, sit with the anxiety. Your feelings are there just to be felt and not to be pushed away. Something else I highly suggest, and I do this, my clients do this, and it's been working for us really well, is to set 3 alarms on your phone, morning, afternoon, and evening. And in these alarms, write, for example, I am the creator of my reality. And these alarms will be able to remind you to come back in the present moment, because the present moment is the only moment that we really have. The past is gone and we're not guaranteed the future. So if you're going to stay living in the past, you're going to feel depressed because you can't change the past. And if you're going to focus just on the future, you're going to feel anxious because nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. Of course, you need to plan and prepare. But we need to live in the present moment because the present moment is all that we have. That's why it's called the present. In the present moment, you're breathing, you're sitting down, you're safe, nothing is happening to you, you're okay. And yes, of course, we all have our own problems, but the difference between the people that you see that are doing well in life, between you and them, the only difference is the way we approach our problems. Because for one, I still go through some tough periods in my life. Of course, I do not have a mom. I do not have a dad. I just recently lost my grandma, who was my mom and father figure. I raise my sister. I feel like I do not have my mom and my grandma here. Like, I know that they're not here and I miss them so much. And of course, like, sometimes life is very difficult to navigate when you do not have like your pillars here with you. However, at the same time, I approach my problems from such a different angle now, from such a different perspective. I am grateful for the friends that I have. I am grateful for the family that I have. I am grateful for the people that I meet, for my clients, and how they, without them knowing, they lift me up so much because I'm so passionate about what I do. Yes, problems are always gonna surface in life. However, it's the mindset of how we deal with them that is different. So set these 3 alarms to help you come back in the present moment, because really and truly the present is all that we've got. Another tip that I would like to give you is to start analyzing what beliefs you have about yourself, about other people, about the world, about money. If you have beliefs like money is the root of all evil, people are nasty, people are mean, people are self-centered, or maybe beliefs about yourself, I am not a runner, I am fat, I am too thin, I am stupid, I am a smartass. Like, start realizing what beliefs you have about yourself, about people, about money, about the world, and start getting used to these beliefs and ask yourself once again, is this belief helping me in life? Is this belief raising my energy? Is this belief true? What proof do I have that this belief is not fully true? And start analyzing and start rewiring these beliefs slowly. Of course, the fastest way to rewire your subconscious brain, to rewire your beliefs, is inner child healing, and to reparent your inner child, to do your shadow work. So that is the fastest and most effective way to rewire your subconscious brain quickly, so you can use the laws of the universe to your favor. But if you start using these tips, you will start seeing improvement. Obviously, if you want to grow your glutes, you're not going to go to the gym once and expect your glutes to have changed into, I don't know, Nicki Minaj's glutes. But you have to be consistent, you have to train often, you have to have a healthy diet, you have to stop watching how to do squats on YouTube and actually go to the gym and do them. And the same goes with your mental health. You have to be consistent, you have to have a healthy mental diet, you have to be careful what you watch, you have to be careful what you listen to, the music, the podcasts, the YouTube videos. You have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because the people that are surrounding you make you. Surrounded by people who are negative, who are always complaining, who have these negative beliefs about people, the world, and everything, you are going to be like them. Make sure you take care of your social media, who you follow, what you see online. Anything that you're constantly feeding your brain is going into your subconscious. If you're feeding your brain with something for a long enough time, it's going to go into your subconscious brain, into your programming. So it's very important to start becoming aware of the way you operate. Sometimes as humans, we tend to focus more on how someone is making us feel, how someone is showing up in our lives, a certain situation, how it's affecting us. But really and truly, everything comes from within. And whether you believe it or not, this is the truth. And if you want your outer reality to change, your inner reality must change first. I think I should write this over here. I'm constantly saying this because it's the truth. I can't expect to go in front of the mirror and see myself with long blonde hair, because my hair is not blonde. So if I want to see myself with blonde hair in the mirror, I have to dye my hair blonde first. So anything that you want to see changing from outside of you, you have to start from within. And it might sound like that's too much responsibility, that this is too difficult for you to do. And that's why there is inner child healing. That's why there are coaches like me. That's why there are specialists. That's why there are doctors who work also with this type of therapy. So it is very, very important that you understand that the way to change what's happening out there with your relationships, with your romantic life, with money, with your body, has to first start changing from within. Once you start rewiring your subconscious brain, once you start healing your inner child, your wounds will no longer run the show. your wounds, some wounds will still be there, because my abandonment wound has never left, to be honest. And I've been on this journey for such a long time. And to be honest, it will never fully leave, because at the end of the day, a wound is a wound. Even on your body, if there's a scar, it healed, it doesn't hurt you anymore, but you can still see that it's there. And it's the same with our emotional wounds. So I will not lie. We will never be perfect. We will always have certain insecurities. We will always have certain doubts, and they change over time. I kid you not. The change that I've seen in myself, that I've seen in my clients, is insane, because all you really need is to hold that little girl or that little boy inside of you who, whilst growing up, they felt different, alone, like there's something wrong with them, like they don't fit in anywhere, like that they're weird or crazy or different. All you really need to do is to repair that little boy or girl inside of you, to let them know they're not alone, to let them know that they are loved, they are safe, that you're never going to abandon them, that whatever they're going through, they have you. And once that little girl or boy inside of you quiets, that's when the beliefs inside the subconscious brain start changing. That's when your body starts feeling safe. That's when your nervous system starts being regulated. And when there's safety, that's when you can flourish. Because in an unsafe environment, the grass doesn't grow, plants do not grow, fruits do not grow. But in a safe environment where there's lots of light and warmth and cold air, where there's like balance, produce can grow. And it's the same with our bodies. When we're constantly distressed, dysregulated, constantly perceiving the stress around you, the body creates diseases, autoimmunes, migraines, sickness, hair loss, so many things. So it's very important that you start off with healing the inner child inside of you, so you stop allowing these wounds to run the show, and then to start applying the laws of the universe to your favor, the laws of quantum physics to your favor. And that's when you will be able to embody a secure version of you, to live from this secure person. How would this secure person show up? How would their posture be? How would they walk? How would they present themselves? Would they be able to make eye contact, or are they constantly looking down? Will they speak loudly? Would they speak softly? Would they stay hunched? How would this secure person act? How would this secure person look? How would they interact? How would they react with others? Do they take everything personal? This secure person, does it constantly ask its friends, is this a good photo to post? Is this a good outfit to wear? What should I message? What should I say? How would this secure person live? Who is this secure person? Like, if you had to close your eyes right now and think of you as a secure person, how would your hair look? How would your face look? How would your posture look? What type of people do you have around you? Which house do you live in? Which partner have you attracted into your life? Think, how would secure me would show up, would be living right now, if I had all that I wanted, and keep on envisioning that secure version of you and keep on trying to live from that version of you. But before you're able to actually live from the secure version of you, before you're actually able to use the laws of the universe to your favor, you really need to regulate your nervous system, to rewire your subconscious brain through inner child healing and somatic work. I hope this has been a bit of an eye-opener. I hope that this episode made you realize that you're not a victim to your circumstances and that you're capable of changing your life. The comfort in knowing that there are people who can help you rewire your subconscious brain to heal your inner child, to attract the life of your dreams. And I hope that you find the courage to put your feet down, pull your socks up, and say enough is enough. It's time to live the best life. It's time to live the life that I deserve to live before all the programming took over me. And again, you don't need to have such a traumatic childhood like me to have your childhood affected the way you operate, the way you interact with others. Minor things, like I mentioned in the beginning of this have also affected the way you view yourself, other people, and life. So I'm really happy to have had this time with you, to give you the hope that you need, the hope that I needed when I was severely depressed. And I'm excited for next week. We have a really special guest. All my guests were really good and nice and special. Next week, there's a special guest. We're going to be talking about breakups whilst having anxious attachment. So it's going to be a really juicy episode. I'll see you all next week. I wish you lots of love, lots of healing, lots of positivity, and the courage to pull your socks up and go and chase the life of your dreams. On the other side of healing, there is such a beautiful life for you to live. I promise you.